Hi, everybody. It's Tuesday night roundtable. And if you're watching right now, thank you. If you don't get to watch this till a little bit later, still thank you. Glad that you're getting to see it. I'll make sure to broadcast this out to all of my groups and everybody tonight. And of course, it'll be archived on my page. We're hoping to get as many people watching this today as possible. So I will be sharing this all over the place tonight. Because we are in our final week up to the election. So tonight I have a guest, Joanne Winholz, our chairwoman for Adams County GOP. And she's joining me tonight to talk a little bit about the, getting across this finish line. What do we all need to do in this last week? And then a little glimpse into the coming days and months and what we're all going to need to be doing. Of course, Joanne's with Adams County Republican Committee, our GOP here in Adams County, but this is probably not much different than any other county throughout the state in terms of what we need to be doing over the next week and what it's going to look like after the election. So couple quick announcements before I get into some questions for Joanne. Just as a reminder, please go to justify.org, JUSTDEFY.org. Click on that page and sign up for our newsletter. Our Facebook page is appearing to be under scrutiny right now, and I have had some difficulties with admin on that page. So I do worry periodically about our ability to continue to communicate in that platform. Also, I am on LinkedIn. Again, under justify.org. So that's another platform. And I have not had the type of scrutiny and issues with that platform that I have on Facebook. So please sign up on the website so that we can stay in touch there. You'll get our newsletter and also check us out on LinkedIn. Of course, we're going to continue our Facebook page until and unless we get any other censorship on there. So the other thing is I was very committed to continuing my Tuesday night roundtables all throughout this election season. And we have had some wonderful guest speakers, wonderful topics. We've had candidates on, we've had industry experts. And I think it's only apropos that we're finishing up with Joanne here tonight to talk about the GOP and kind of the future of what we're going to do after the election. Next Tuesday night, I will be blogging throughout the election results and things that are coming in, but this will be my last official Tuesday night roundtable for 2020. I think, coming in the end of this year and into next year, I'm going to be reevaluating what's happening with Justify and my role and where I plan to go. And please stay tuned to my page, my LinkedIn page, Facebook page, YouTube page. Watch for those vlogs and that information. And as I make some decisions about the future here in politics, then I will make sure to make those announcements. And I will be continuing roundtables in 2021, but they're going to look a little different, and there will be a community-based roundtables. So keep your eye out for those. So without further ado, Joanne, if you'd like to say hi to everybody. And Joanne is not just our chair. She's been in politics for a while. She's been in the state legislature. So if you could just tell everybody just a little bit about you real briefly, that would be great.
Well, hello, everybody. Yes, I'm very pleased to have been asked to share this time with you. This roundtable is certainly something that Cynthia has promoted and has done very, very well. And I'm glad to, have a chance to be a part of it. I was served in the legislature for 2 years, from 2014 through 2016. I would encourage anyone who is thinking about it to get out there and run for a public office. It doesn't matter exactly, what it is, but you get to know your community, you get to know the people, and it's well worth it. It really, really is. And it's a very noble cause to be out there as a public servant. As far as family, married, 3 children, and a whole dozen grandkids. So we've been greatly blessed. We have a lot going on right now, and with the election just around the corner, we put out a robocall to get everybody to vote, to remind them to vote, and got a lot of interesting replies concerning that. Some pro, some con, and but at least they're paying enough attention to respond. So it's kind of a two-edged sword, but that's politics.
So Joanne, in this last week, if someone wanted to help, what we call chasing ballots at this point, what are the two things that they could do, and how could they help with that?
Well, the chasing ballots basically is what we're trying to get to those folks who haven't turned their ballot in yet. And some folks, they just don't till the last minute. Others, with the mail-in, some have got them in quite early, almost too early in some cases, I think, because now, especially on the Democratic side, they're finding out a few things that they didn't know when they voted. But when we chase ballots, we aren't running around, up and down the streets like crazy people. Basically, we get a printout daily of who hasn't voted. And so we try to give them at least one phone call as a reminder. If you get a second phone call, it's probably because it's November 1st or 2nd and your name's still on the list. So we really need a lot of help with that. If you're interested in doing that, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. I'd really would appreciate the help.
So, you might say, oh, it's too late for me to do anything. That's not true. We have the rest of this week, all weekend, even through next Monday, that we're chasing down those ballots. And it's pretty simple. Joanne sends you a phone list and you call people.
Absolutely. And you're calling for all of the candidates in the county to get out, to get their votes. And so it's, you can, if you want, just work for one candidate. But this way, we've got a great slate of people that are running for office, and they need your vote. And if you can find time to make some few phone calls, that would be wonderful. There are many sites where people can go vote in person, and that's what my husband and I did. We've been mailing it in all this time, and we get notice that our ballots have been received. But if you want to be sure that your ballot's going to get counted, go vote in person.
And that's already going on, right? Early voting.
Absolutely. It started when the ballots went out on the 9th. Counting didn't start till about a week after that. But yes, and it's in Adams County, they're in 3 phases. On October 30th, more facilities are going to open. And so there is no reason that you'd have to stand in line for hours like you've seen on TV. So.
And if you don't live in Adams County, because I know I have some people who watch and tune in to these roundtables that are in other counties, this process is going to be very similar. So if you live in another county and you want to help chase those ballots there, of course, we're partial to Adams County, Joanne and I, because we're part of it. But we don't care what county you're in, right? We want to encourage you to help in this last week, and you can do it on your own time. You can get the list. You can talk to a representative in your GOP, call in the morning, call at night, whatever. A lot of people are also still walking to promote candidates or to get ballots as well. And if you want to walk, we can help get you in touch with a GOP field officer. Because right now, Joanne, is this correct? Like Blake would be the one up in this area that would cut a list if you wanted to walk and go looking for ballots, correct?
Yes. And he is the one that's in charge of the victory office for Adams and Denver County. Yes.
So I'm just going to say blanketly, you could contact your local county GOP and they could connect you to get that list made if you wanted to walk instead of call. If you have any difficulty figuring out who that is, all you need to do is send me a private message, and I will get back to you with their contact information. And I've done that in other cases as well when people were looking for someone. So I will be happy to hunt down that person and get you connected immediately. And just send me a private message through Facebook or call me, email me, whatever. All my information's public. And you can even post into my justify.org Facebook group, whatever it is, and I'll get back to you right away with that information.
We have folks that are running for the House of Representatives, for the state Senate, for the U.S. House, U.S. Senate, our Adams County Commissioner seats, the DA, and they're all excellent people. You'd be well worth your time to take time and learn about them and help them any way you can.
They're all out this last week, walking, knocking on doors still. Of course, all of our candidates are going to be our biggest ballot chasers of all. They'll be out there talking to people. So, of course, not only are you supporting the process of voting and getting that done, but supporting those candidates as well. And like Joanne's saying, you can vote in person if you want. You can do that early. You don't have to wait until November 3rd to vote in person. I know that even though I live here in Adams, I work up in Weld County, and a customer of mine who came in the other day, just because we oftentimes, as bank managers, are considered resources, was asked, where can I vote up here? So I've printed all of the information up there in Weld County too, all the voting locations and stuff. And it's readily available almost on every county website that I've seen. If you go to the elections, go to your county website, hit elections, and bam, you can get a list immediately of where to drop ballots, vote on the day of, everything. And so it's pretty simple to get that information. But again, we're willing to help. I was just talking to Joanne earlier today, and of course met with her last night for our House District 30 meeting. And one of the other things we were talking about is that next Tuesday is not the end, folks. It's the beginning of the next phase of where we need to go as Republicans and also as conservatives in whole. And even though Joanne and I are both have seats in some aspect of the GOP, we are both, I think, what we would call conservatives at heart, and someone who wants to bring all conservatives together. We want to bring people into the party who are like-minded, who support conservative values, who are tired of the garbage that's going on. And so we're constantly looking for people who want to become more involved. And Joanne, can you explain to folks what a precinct committee person is? Because I know that in Adams County, there are a lot of districts where we could use folks to come on board as a PCP, and I'm sure other counties might have that as well. And could you just explain to people kind of what that entails?
The precinct committee person, which we refer to as the PCP, actually is the backbone of any campaign that goes on. They work for the candidate. They They can help walk. They can help make phone calls, help with fundraising, hold events. These are the people that know their neighborhood. They live in their neighborhood. They actually represent those folks in their neighborhood, just like a school board person would for a certain locale. Well, the precinct committee person it's maybe usually only a precinct is 3 or 4 blocks. It's not like you're having a whole section of a community to do. And you get to know your neighbor and what the situations are and what they're struggling with as far as their community and problems that they're having, maybe whether it's with the local government, city government, county, but it really fills the picture on what the community is about. The PCP is a very, very important cog in the wheel of any community. And it's when it comes to election time and when it's you need to get the vote out, that's the people you turn to as your PCPs.
You know, and maybe we could dispel the myth a little bit tonight. I think that sometimes there are people out there who think about joining their county GOP or trying to get involved at some other level, and they say to themselves, oh, I'm not experienced. I don't have experience, so I can't do that. Can you just speak to that, a whole myth about what experience you need and
your experience is your life experience, and it's what you have done is, and your family and that, and we all deal with our taxes. We all drive on the roads. We all have to, participate, or usually with our schools, and so it's those kind of experiences that make up a community, and it's those experiences that you bring forward if you want to be involved, and whether it's at just being involved with the local political party, school board, if you're involved with your HOA, if you're involved in the board at church, it's all of those things that give you the experience to know the community and what the needs of your community. And that's what anybody who is thinking about being more involved in politics or running for office, that's what you bring to the table.
This is not a position, folks, that you have to have years of experience, technical experience. Everybody has to start with no experience. If you want to become involved in politics or activism or community involvement, whatever it is you want to call it, you have to start somewhere. And really the base of experience, I think the first step is, number one, willingness to dedicate a little bit of your time and your life to this. And it doesn't mean that you have to be working 50 hours a week at politics, right? But having a willingness, and then, what Joanne's talking about is the experience of life comes forward into that. And I think one of the biggest things that I would say is helpful is just an ability to communicate and problem solve, think about things critically, and listen to people in the community, and then help convey that message. Getting out and talking to people and trying to encourage other people to become more involved. That's really at the crux of what it is to start off being involved in your political party at the county level. And so there's no formal political involvement that needs to have happened, or training or things like that. It really is about a common sense type of approach, and willingness to listen and address problems and talk to people, that type of thing. So
absolutely.
Well, in Adams County, our Adams County GOP, what we call Adams County Republican Committee, meets on the first Thursday of every month, and we will be meeting next week. I know that in Adams County, almost all of our districts could use precinct committee people, and a couple of them may also need what we call a district captain, which is someone who sort of helps coordinate 2 or 3 precinct committee people and brings people together and recruits. And so I would encourage you, whether it's in Adams or another county too, is to show up to those meetings. There are things that happen in the county GOP meetings that are kind of executive board decision-making and voting, but they're all open public meetings. And even during the sort of executive point where they're meeting or voting on things, people can be present and show up. That's a good place to start to meet folks and figure out where you might fit in. It's also a great place if you're thinking about running for office to start to talk to the people in your county about what the needs are and what they perceive, and start to share with them your aspirations for running for public office, even if it's an office like city council, let's say, right? City council in most cities are not partisan positions, but still it's a good idea to make connections with people who have experience helping people campaign or running for office, reporting, and all the things that go into that. What's been your experience, Joanne, with people coming forward to the meetings and stuff to talk about running for office? Are you seeing anything?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's more, they've got a lot of questions, and you try to answer them the best you can, but the best is just to come with your questions and listen. That is one of the biggest things, listening to what other people have to say, and be open to a lot of different ideas. I know when I ran for the Adams County State Rep, it was quite a change from any of the other things I had done in the past. I wish seriously that I had been more involved in the school board, and but I didn't, and so it was quite a learning curve. And that's where we can help those folks who are thinking about it. Maybe it would be a better idea to run for a city council or school board rather than jumping right in for a state rep. But it's time to get to know people, find out what it is all involved. And it's not rocket science, but it does take work, and it does take some time. Yes. And I know that. And so it's not to be afraid, but it needs to be researched. And I will say you definitely need to have your family support on whatever you decide to do.
It is important to have support. And, one of the ways to start to network and gain that support is to become involved in your county party, to serve as a PCP, to help campaign for other candidates. All of these different things start to get you the knowledge and the understanding of what it takes to do that. And so, no matter what you're doing, after next week, we will have elected, if God willing, reelected our president. And, we'll be moving into a new era. I really believe that no matter what happens next Tuesday with our elections, we are going to see unprecedented times in politics and civics in this country. And I know that in Colorado as well. And I know for a lot of people, it is unsettling. So there is some apprehension and concern about where we're going to be going. But I will continue to say what I've said all year. Pick up your pen, pick up your voting, your ballot, pick up a sign, a bullhorn, anything you can before you have to pick up a weapon. We're hoping that we don't get to that point, right, where we're having to pick up our guns, but we want to use every legal method and means we can to take back our political position, take back our country, get things back on order. And it's not going to stop next Tuesday. If anything, the need will only increase at that point. So between now and next week, talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, and talk to your family. Please encourage and remind them to vote. Let them know that most counties have early in-person voting if that's what they're waiting for, so they don't have to wait until the day of. If you can make phone calls to chase down some ballots and help, please let me know. You can post or send me a private message. I'll make sure to get you in contact with Joanne, or if it's in another county, that person. Lastly, if you haven't personally voted, please make sure you vote. It's really important to get those votes. If you have questions about the measures or things on your ballots, there's a number of different resources out there, and I'd be happy to help point you to some of those independent resources that are out there that you can look at. Mm-hmm. And then finally, please, as we pass up this election season and we move into the next and beyond, please consider continuing or starting to get involved in this process if nothing else, we have seen proof in 2020 that apathy is going to kill us and destroy our nation. There is no place for apathy left in this country anymore. And for far too many years, I think that many of us, and I know that even at times that has been me, I point the finger in my own direction as well. So many of us are busy working, taking care of households, having kids, and trying to make the day-to-day grind of life work, that we have allowed ourselves to turn a blind eye to what's going on in our government and have not been as involved in politics as we could have been. And of course, we will suffer for that, surely. I think we've started to see how that turns out. So I just encourage you not to be apathetic, to get involved. I've said it a million times this year that inaction is a choice. So please be cognizant as to who will suffer for your choice if that's what you choose. And I am no saint or perfect person. I've become more involved this year than ever in my life before, even though I have been involved in politics to some degree. But it's never too late to stand up and make a stand for what's important to you. Joanne, do you have anything last that you'd like to add for people this week, or any kind of last calls to action?
Well, the calls to action would be, if you have any extra time at all, to please contact Cynthia, and we'll get back in touch with you directly. I would just want to encourage you to please get out there and vote, and get as many as possible to vote for Republican. This election is critical. And if we think that, oh, well, things will just go on, everything's going to be fine. No, it won't. Not if it does, not if President Trump is not reelected. It will not be fine. It will be, there's going to be a huge shift in the direction of this country, and it's not going to be pretty. So please get out there and vote. Please get your neighbors and your friends and your family, even if they get mad at you. Believe me, I've had a few. So, but it's okay. You know, we're big kids. We can handle it. So get out there and vote. And we've got a whole new season ahead of us. So one way or the other, we're gonna make this work.
Kathleen Dodaro just posted. She's the chairperson for House District 35 over in Westminster area. And she posted a comment and she said, vote, save America. And that's where we're at, folks, right now. We are at a critical time. So I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in tonight, commented. Joanne, thank you so much for being with me. I know I asked you to do this at the last minute, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to be pushing this video out everywhere tonight. And hopefully, even if we get one or two people who say, yeah, I can spend an hour, 2 hours, any kind of time this week to make some phone calls, that would be great. This will be my last Tuesday night roundtable officially for the 2020 election season. Please continue to follow to see where I go from there. You'll start to see some blogging and some other types of things from me. Visit Justify, JUSTDEFY.org as well. And God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. And vote, vote, vote.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.